My shared screen. I just wanted to give it. Okay. Welcome everyone. So yes, I know the conversation was going to be things to keep in mind, but in my experience, these are the things that people forget when they're looking to deal with me about their new website. So I just thought I'd highlight and showcase some of the issues around those. Uh, because it is the first impression. Your website is the first impression. Sorry, I'm just where's it is the first impression that people have of your business. So it is important that we put our best foot forward. And this is usually where you can replace beautiful with impactful, engaging, dynamic. I've heard them all. I want to get a beautiful website. Yet most even to medium enterprise level where they don't have internal teams, businesses tend to overlook a few things. And I just want to share my experience and my knowledge with you guys. So yeah, the most common things that people forget. But before I go into that, just to confirm why you should be listening to me, because I have been working with websites for over 20 years, WordPress for over 20 years. And that is actually me on my first birthday trying to just eat a sandwich when everybody wants to get a photo taken. So I'm pretty determined to get that sandwich. So, I bring the same attitude to problem solving for my clients. So if there's anything that is bothering you or if you want to chat about, there'll be contact details at the end, and I'd be happy to do a one-to-one and have a chat. Uh, so first thing, the most important thing that people tend to forget is a website brief, which essentially the technical definition is on the screen, essentially is a business plan for your website. It guides and directs the whole development phase. And I'm sure people like Alec, Nick, and John Halliwell in the group are nodding their heads, I hope, because the number of small to medium enterprises that start out with, I want a website, but then jump to, well, what's going to be on it, without actually doing the intermediate steps like the brief, giving the web developer a starting point uh, for the conversation. It's absolutely essential. Um, sorry. The reality is that a lot of people end up with muddled thinking. So I found this example of website. Just have a look at it. I know I've sped it up for presentation purposes, but as you saw, it's a horrible looking website. It doesn't appear to be very clear. There's everything everywhere. It's a bit of mishmash of everything. So if you want to avoid that, you have to start off with clear directives and clear instructions. Um, oh yeah. So the solution is to have a website planning document, a creative briefing, whatever. We have one. There's a hard copy. I can email it to anybody if you want to see the kind of things we cover, or you can access it online on that website. Basically, it includes a few components that are really important. Uh, it, we ask for a business overview, design preferences, current website assessment, both yours and other websites, not necessarily even competitors, but in general, what websites you like and dislike and stuff. Um, the goals for the new website, which is vitally important, and customer insights, so customer profiles and stuff. Why all these things are important will become clear as we talk through the presentation. Uh, and we can do a short QA at the end. Uh, the next thing that people forget most about is user experience. Again, technical definition on the screen, but user experience is everything that people experience on your website, right from from the moment they hit return on their keyboard to load your website. Anything that appears in the browser is part of your user experience. How it loads, how quickly it loads, are the images the right size, the right resolution, is the content good, does it talk to people, does it communicate with them? It's essential that it hits all the sweet spots along the way. And as I said, it starts from the moment you hit return to access a website. And it has to start meeting the user expectations and needs. Just to put into context, loading speed is a big UX factor, because research suggests that if your site doesn't load quickly, people will walk away. And I remember reading a stat a few years ago, that it was 3 seconds, especially on mobiles. If your site didn't load or start loading within 3 seconds, the people would move away. So it's important that we look at it and we talk about it from day zero, not day one. Day one is already too late. The reality is that when you don't have joined up clear thinking, your user experience, it looks exactly like this maze. Nobody knows where to go, what to do once they hit return to load up your website. It makes a website really confusing, the messaging really confusing, creating a very bad brand image for you. Um, and the biggest things that show up on the website as a result of bad UX are very disorganized navigation. So people don't know how to find their way from point A to point B. Your layouts become overcrowded, too much content, and there's no visual hierarchy anywhere. So, people tend to focus on areas of the screen, and if you muddle them up, they lose focus. And if people start getting tired, they're going to walk away. Uh, in reality, what we'd like to have is user experience that is on a complex website is exactly like this junction in Houston. Traffic just flows seamlessly from one end to another or one direction to another, changing directions without any bottlenecks. And there's some stats there as well. 88% of users are less likely to return after a bad experience. So it's really important that you start thinking about the UX. Uh, the converse of the opposite of the bad UX is in good UX, you have clear navigation. You are effectively tapping the person on the shoulder, telling them what to do next if you structure your website correctly. And you can plan that. And the customer personas, customer profile, customer expectations in the brief directly tie in with this. And that's why it's important to keep these in mind. The next piece is content. Simplified definition, every piece of visual and text content that goes on the website. However, it includes a lot more than that, and I know there's a couple of people much more qualified than I to talk about it in terms of the branding information that goes into the website. I mean, if you look at say my website, there's only two fonts. There's color palettes that have been given to me by the brand designer. Slides have the same kind of colors, same fonts. So there's a continuity all the way through, and that's part of your content as well. So if somebody is advising you on keeping those, I have met clients who want, but why can't I have four fonts on my webpage? Please listen to them. There's a reason for all of this. So yeah, content. Um, but the challenge is you have to understand your customer to present that content. So this image with the text on top, while it's absolutely perfect, really good looking image and perfectly legible text, it doesn't work in Ireland. It doesn't work in Europe because it's a picture from Delhi and that's Hindi. It doesn't translate. So it's a simplified example of how bad content can disengage your clients. So your messaging not only does it have to be right, it has to be in the right language, right tone. The image has to match the expectations of your website visitors. So again, this is all based on experience because I have a client that the project is on hold for the last 8 months because they haven't written their text content. Now, thankfully, I covered myself and I've got 90% of the payment because the design is complete, the technical development is complete, but the website hasn't been launched because they didn't think of the content. And literally, they had that moment on a call going, shit, I did not think about the content. Now they're working with a copywriter, but so think about it, and it's more than just the text as well. Um, this is the opposite of the previous image, also a good image, but it's um, Dublin. It's a local image for an Irish website, so it makes a connection. People recognize it. The message is clear. It's in English. So again, a simplified example, but that's how good content can engage with people, and they look at it and go, oh yeah, that. So it's an Irish business or Irish whatever, or they're certainly working in Ireland, and then you put in your brand details on that as well if you want. Uh, the next two items are things that are Also very important for making sure that the website continues to operate as a effective sales tool. Conversions. A lot of, again, a technical definition is there. A lot of business owners tend to think only hard conversions matter. What is a hard conversion? So if you have an e-commerce website, the sale is a hard conversion. For software as a service, signing up for the free trial or signing up for their service is a hard conversion. But the reality is that there's a whole array of conversions from the start of the engagement till the customer actually makes a decision. So it could be subscription for a mailing list, it could be asking a query, it could be visiting certain parts of your website for extra content, an FAQ section or knowledge base. They all have a value attached because you're spending your time and money creating this website. I go back to this example again because I actually don't see any calls to action, or certainly not at first glance. They lease cars, and it's very difficult to find what action do they want you to take on the website. And same thing, same video again. So you know, having clarity around the calls to action, around the contact forms, around what action you want people to take. So if you want to try, so in one of the client projects we were working on, they wanted to track how people got from their homepage to the checkout page, and you have to be able to design those funnels. But how do you get the person from homepage to the intermediate pages to the checkout? You have to design those conversions, the calls to action, telling people go to page B, go to page C, go to checkout. Having the clarity. So you could have few tips there. You could have, first of all, clear goals on what you define as conversions, macro and micro, or as I called them earlier, hard and soft. And then keep your user behavior in mind, user experience, and then put in calls to action that are visible, easily accessible, and are available. Sorry, they stand out, but not violating your brand guidelines, which is the content part. So it all starts to tie in. And as you can see the stat there, a 200% increase in conversions is seen when you have optimized calls to action. So all of this and planning those conversions and the calls to actions accordingly is ridiculously important. And the last part is follow-ups. This is even more overlooked than some of the other ones that we have talked about, because when somebody comes to a bricks and mortar store and they purchase from you, you give them the change back, you give them the receipt, and you say thank you, and that is a sort of a follow-up. You're saying that thank you part, but it's amazing how many people forget to do that in their e-commerce stores, that they don't have a follow-up email. So I've worked with one of my e-commerce clients, and one of the first things we did with them was we looked at their post sales, because she had a great brand, great product, but the sales, how could we get more out of existing customers? So, but simply by sending the thank you email a week after they ordered and asking if they received the product, increase the conversion rate, increase the sales. So the follow-ups are really important, and that's why in lots of business owners are like, oh, how do I do this? It's a lot to do. It's a lot to take in. But thankfully, all you have to do is define what those follow-ups are, because we have tools at our disposal, mostly built within the CRM systems, that allow you to build in workflows. So if somebody has purchased, you can trigger a workflow to send them an automatic email saying, thank you for the order. And a week later, did you receive the product? If you receive the product, please review this. And here's the link for review. And then 3 months later, you've been using our product for 3 months. What do you think of it? I know people who send it a year later going, what do you think of our product now, a year down the line? So those kind of follow-ups can be really important. Or I'm sure we have all received emails from Amazon about, oh, we'd love to see you back to complete the purchase that you left midway through. That increases your conversion rates, because
Amit, sorry to rush you, buddy. We're about two minutes left, if you don't mind.
perfect. I'm on the last slide, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah, thanks. So sending them emails, follow-up emails after the purchases have been completed, subscriptions have been done on your blogging website. it's really important. And there are tools out there, as I said, Zoho, Klaviyo, MailChimp, Constant Contact. All of them really have some sort of automation available that you can employ. And they can be integrated with your contact forms as well, not just purchases. So if you have a contact form, you can send them a download of something. You can send them a PDF. You can send them a tip sheet or something like that. Because if you're in their conscience, they're likely to come back and buy from you. So yeah, I know I covered a lot, but the few questions when it comes to these things: would you build your dream home without a plan, i.e., your website? Is your website frustrating your visitors? Does your content truly connect with your audience? How much are you losing by ignoring those conversions, both macro and micro? Are you letting customers walk away without a follow-up? If any of these questions worry you or keep you up at night, if you scan the QR code, I'd be happy to do a one-to-one with you, and we can have a chat. So
brilliant, Amit. That's great. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, great presentation. So,
sorry, man.